Hello and welcome back to the Bad OC Challenge. This is the second video in the series. If you didn't catch the first one, I'll link it to you in the description. Basically, I'm going to explain the backstory of my character that I'm developing over the year. This might change towards the end of the year. I'm basically just going to do it so I gather the backstory of her at the beginning and then change it at the end once I finish her design. There's a bit of animation at the start, a little bit rubbish. Never really done it before, but I thought I'd at least give it a go. There's not much of it, and then I'm basically just going to be talking about the rest of her backstory. I hope you enjoy. Emmeline was born in London in a rich family in the year 1851. Her father came from a long line of businessmen, so their family were never short of money. But her parents knew she wasn't like other children. At a young age, she began to talk to a man she simply referred to as Lawrence, but her parents could never understand why she spoke to her stuffed bear so vividly, until one day she told them that Lawrence in fact was not a toy. Her imaginary friend was the only person she ever spoke to. Refusing to play with the other children, her parents were faced with no other choice than to take her out of school and begin to teach her at home. As she got older, her imaginary friend only seemed to consume her more. She would shout at her parents when they interrupted their conversation and would spend hours and hours alone in her room with him. They could no longer cope. So her parents took her to a children's institute where she would be in a safe environment amongst other children who also couldn't quite fit in. The staff of the institute never really took the time to pay each child's individual case any attention, so they would deal with it in whatever way they could. For Emmeline, they took away her stuffed animal until they could no longer stand her screams, her crying and her pleads. As she grew older, she dove into the world of books, fascinated by their stories and living them, fantasizing so deeply she believed them all to be true, and in her head, Lawrence became her prince. After turning 15 and still no longer able to distinguish between reality and fiction, the nurses decided to hide her bear from her, telling her that Lawrence had done something bad and would be away for a long while. And that was it. He was gone. Her first thoughts were jail. But what could he have done? And how do you find a prince that's locked up? Realizing that the hunt for him keeps her occupied, the other children have been told not to speak of him, as she must figure out for herself whether her prince is alive or dead, fact or fiction. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry that the whole thing wasn't animated. I would if I had the time. I now have a really good appreciation for animators and how long it takes, because I wasn't even doing anything fancy. It's literally just some panning across the screen that I didn't Photoshop, but at least I got the experience. Please remember to like, favourite and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.